lava pits that they're trying not to fall into, just to see if they can make it all the way out of the mountain at the bottom at the very end. Darkness is definitely a harrowing gameplay experience. But, you know, if we think about SSX, you know, Race It, Survive It are fantastic game modes, but really, you know, what I believe the heart of SSX always to be is one of the greatest trick games and trick experiences in all of video games. And, you know, SSX and sort of old school Tony Hawk, you know, to me, those were the games that I grew up playing. And, you know, we really wanted to focus on making sure that we could re-deliver that incredible, easy to pick up and play, but super hardcore depth as you get into how the trick system works. And we wanted to recreate that in spades in SSX. So our biggest efforts in early days on SSX was to create a physics system that would literally allow the player to ride off any object and any shape in the world and have, you know, the proper type of angular momentum continue. And what we've done with our core physics, you know, best summed up probably by some of our community members who came up here and actually played the new SSX. They said afterwards that, you know, it's impossible to describe the difference and the feeling that the physics that we've added into SSX does to the riding experience. But it's nothing short of phenomenal, and we're really proud of it. You know, I always thought SSX had the greatest snowboarding physics of any game, any snowboarding game certainly before, and we think that we've actually improved on that. And then, you know, along the trick experience, we still have all the big, crazy, over-the-top tricks. You can kick both feet out of your bindings. You can break dance on your snowboard. You can do absolutely anything that you could possibly imagine, and probably some things you couldn't even imagine, all possible in SSX in our Trick It game mode. So to just sum that up before we get into our live gameplay, you know, 3 major goals for SSX. Number 1 was to deliver a massive world for players to play in. Number 2 was to really redefine social competition and bring friends and the experience of competing with friends to the absolute heart of our gameplay experience. And then third, to just create that crazy, over-the-top, reality-defying gameplay that SSX has really been built upon. And with that, I'm going to stop talking, finally, and I'm going to throw it over to Connor, who is going to take you guys for a run down a couple of mountains in SSX. Sure. Tell us where we're going, Connor.
So actually, before we actually jump in, I just wanted to show you our globe interface. So, you know, because we're building a massive world, you know, one of the challenges is how you're going to let players navigate through all that content. And so we have a Google Earth inspired interface where I can select any major mountain range that I want to go to. Once I select which range I want to go to, I zoom in. And within each range, there's multiple peaks. So I can select a peak. Once I select the peak I want to go to, I can zoom in even further. And there are multiple drop points within each peak. So we're going to go check out a trick run in Siberia. And I am going to use my favorite character, which is...
Who's your favorite character, Connor?
Mac Fraser is my favorite character, Todd. So we're going to go in with him. And yeah, so let's talk over the load about what they're about to see, about the different regions and how they're themed uniquely.
Sure. Yeah, so with SSX, what we wanted to do, again, you know, because we were representing real and authentic mountains and real authentic mountain ranges, we didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea that we were really trying to create a simulation snowboarding experience. So, you know, a couple things to be really clear on is we take whatever creative liberties we want with the mountains that we find to create the most amazing, over-the-top snowboarding experience that you could imagine. And then the second thing is we wanted to create, you know, kind of a theme to each region so that, you know, amongst all of these mountains, they still all felt unique and different from each other. So the mountain that Connor selected here, Boris in Siberia, we picked the theme of kind of an abandoned nuclear power plant. So as Connor starts to ride through some pretty gnarly and crazy terrain that you will see is clearly SSX inspired, he's eventually going to come upon an abandoned nuclear power plant and have the opportunity to grind off some power lines and ride some buildings and whatnot. So, you know, I'll just talk over the basics of SSX for those people not familiar with the franchise. If you see the bar at the bottom of Connor's screen, as he's doing tricks, that bar starts to fill, and when that bar gets full, he enters into what's called tricky mode. Now that he's in tricky mode, he's trying to fill in all the letters of tricky by doing big crazy tricks. If he does that, he goes into what we call super tricky mode. As you move your way up through the layers of gameplay, which Connor did quite expertly and very quickly.
I am the best at this game.
Connor is the best player in the world at SSX right now. All of your tricks, basically, in the entire game all get replaced. So there's a huge set of basic tricks, you know, from, you know, air tricks to grind tricks to ground tricks. And then as you go into tricky, all of those tricks get replaced with bigger and crazier versions of those tricks. And then when you get into super tricky, all of those tricks get replaced again with bigger and crazier versions of themselves. So there are tons of different tricks to explore in the game. as you go. So Connor is now coming on the power plant area, and Connor, you got to do something exciting. You're not looking like the best player in the world right now. All right, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
What about that?
Yeah, so one of the cool new features in SSX as well is there is a helicopter that takes you from place to place around the world, and that helicopter actually follows you down the mountain and is constantly looking for places and opportunities in front of big jumps to set himself up, where then if you happen to go off of one of those jumps, you can actually trick off of the helicopter. You can grind it, you can bonk off the underneath of it. Oh, I thought you were in big trouble there. Good recovery. A couple other things, Connor, bail. If you can, show me a big wipeout. So you have big bails in SSX if you're holding your tricks. Now rewind, Connor. Another really cool feature in SSX is anytime you want, at the single press of a button, if you land in a bad area or if you bail on one of your tricks, you can instantly press a single button, rewind back, jump back in again, and change the future, which is a really fun and an easy feature to use. We have all kinds of things in place to make sure that that's not a giant exploit in the game. But it's a really nice way to sort of help train and practice and use it for small adjustments as you kind of ride through the world.
They come in really handy in survival events as well.
Yes, exactly. So a couple other things, we obviously have a multiplier system as you move down the mountain and do big tricks. The better and the faster that you're advancing down the mountain, you build up a multiplier, which is shown underneath the tricky bar there. And you can also build up combos, so very sort of old school SSX and Tony Hawk inspired. As you do tricks, if you do one trick after the other, quick enough in succession, you start to stack those tricks on the left-hand side. You can build up, 30, 40, 50, 100 move combos, and then eventually when you cash that combo in, you get it at the multiplier under the screen. So, the cool thing we're seeing is lots of variation in scores amongst players. Newbies, start off the game and they're getting 50 or 100,000, and some of our high scores and best scores are in the 10 to 20 million range. So there's a huge amount of learning in depth and building on that trick system as you go forward and move through the game.
So yeah, let's go. You want to check out something else? You want to check out survival event?
What do you think, Jen? What would you like to see?
I would like to see, I'd see a survival event.
A survival event?
Yeah.
Why don't you show us wingsuits?
Okay.
Let's go to Gravity.
Cool.
We've been talking about how cool they are. We might as well show them. So let's go to Patagonia, which is somewhere on the globe over here. There it is.
You will learn your geography playing SSX.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go to Fitzroy, which is the location of the Deadly Descent in our game, and we're going to go to the survival track on Fitzroy, which is going to have some huge gaps, and the only way to cross those gaps is, of course, with the wingsuit. So I am going to equip a wingsuit right now. Oh, that worked. Great. And I'm going to jump in the game.
You sound surprised.
Yes. So we're going to go check out the wingsuit. You're going to notice this particular drop's going to have a lot of weather on it, a little more darker, a little more ominous, if I'm correct. Oh yeah, it's a little darker. And all of our Deadly Descents have that sort of vibe to them.
Yeah, and after this we should show as well, we also have some really great, bright and cheery and sunny courses as well. So we've picked two of the kind of more stormy and oppressive areas to demo inconveniently here, but that's okay. So what you'll see here is how the wingsuit works. So very simple and actually easy to use. As soon as you jump up into the air, you can just press and hold a single button. That deploys your wingsuit. The wingsuit was actually built by a pilot on our team who is very passionate about making sure that he got the physics of flight right. So it feels really cool and it feels authentic, and it's actually another one of those kind of really simple and easy to use, but takes certainly some practice to be able to master its use. And here you get an idea of the type of gameplay that we can start to create when you have a wingsuit in your game, which is almost got a platforming feel to it, this level in particular. You can see a big pass split. You can go all the way over to the right there, or all the way over to the left. Our mountains are huge in SSX, and there are literally dozens of different ways to get down them. We found that players are saying that it sometimes takes them 10 or 15 runs just to figure out a general sense of the map down the mountain because our levels are so huge, which is all kinds of fun, really great to explore. And You know, when you're trying to figure out racing and trying to figure out the fastest line, it takes a bunch of practice to figure out where exactly you're going to find those fastest lines.
Another cool thing I should mention is we have different types of wingsuit, different types of gear in the game, so you can actually, through Explore mode or playing through our World Tour mode, you know, you can level up your character, and as you do so, you can unlock and or earn different types of wingsuits. So I can earn better wingsuits, ones that have more lift time, that go at higher speeds, which makes it a lot of fun, not only to complete the level, but also to compete with your friends.
Yeah, so what we do with survival tracks as well, just to kind of create that is, you know, at first we thought, well, we'll just make it so that